Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I didn't post any videos last week because I was honestly exhausted between like going to my mom's house, checking on her, and I was like, doing stuff around her house. Like I helped her clean her house, not helped her. I cleaned and did some laundry for her and stuff. And then I like grocery shopped with my sister, and then I cooked for her to have for like the week of last week, so that way she didn't have to worry about that. And then we had to go back yesterday to downtown in the medical center in Houston to do her follow-up, and the device is working fine. Her heart is good, she's Gucci. She's went back at work today, so that's amazing. I feel like I can finally relax and sleep now that everything is like normal. And then on top of that, I was having like major headaches last week. I felt like they were worse last week than they normally are, but I think that was like due to me not sleeping very well and maybe just the stress of like worrying about my mom and like being there for her and being there for my family and all of that. But anyway, so I just didn't have it in me to like post a video last week Wednesday or last week Saturday at all. But I still have been reading. I did take breaks in between to just do nothing, but I did read. But let's talk about the books I DNF. I never do a video about books I DNF because while I am pro DNFing, I don't DNF a lot of books because I try not to like buy books that I'm not going to read or not going to enjoy, I should say. And so I did end up DNFing books, however. So let's start with this one. This one is called A Bigger Picture by Vanessa Nakate. It is a memoir, but it acts as a manifesto for climate change. So I believe she was like a teenager or a young adult, and she was protesting and she was speaking out against climate change, being an activist for it, and teaching other kids to open their mouths and spread the word and just to help her. I just could not get into it. I was like, well, for one, I didn't know that that's what it was when I was going into it. I just honestly need to read the synopsis of books at this point. Like, stop going into books blind. This was one of the books I got from a fill bag sale, so like, it was fine. And I'm fine with memoirs. I think it was just the manifesto to climate change, like it being sent around that. I just was not getting into it, and I'm in a slump. And for me, a slump does not mean not reading, because I read, I just don't really, like, I'm not loving the books I'm reading. So I'm already there in a place where I'm like not loving a lot of the books I'm reading. So it was like just reading about climate change at this time was not for me. And I was like, I'm not getting into this. I'm not liking it. It's fine. It wasn't bad. I wasn't hating it. I just wasn't enjoying it. And I was like, there's no point of me continuing it. So I did stop reading this about maybe 20 to 30% through the book. I'm not exactly sure, but more power to her. I respect it. I just didn't want to read about it. Okay. And then I also started Daphne by Josh Malerman, and I DNF'd that one about 40% through. No, maybe even 50%, to be honest with you. I DNF'd this one about 40% through. First of all, I started listening to this on audio. I was listening to it through Spotify. And so my Spotify credit ran out because I listened to another book and some of other books. And so I ran out of like, play hours or whatever. And so I started reading it physically, and like, it has no chapters. I don't know how I keep finding books that have no chapters, but it has no chapters. That's bothersome. But also it's a story about kind of like Bloody Mary, how you mentioned Bloody Mary 3 times, and then she comes alive and kills you. I believe that's the story of Bloody Mary. But it was like there was a legend about Daphne, and they told a story at a sleepover, you know, and then part of her believed it was fake, but then she couldn't stop thinking about it, thinking it may be true and whatnot. And so she was like, the more you think about Daphne, she'll manifest herself. So it just honestly was flat. It was boring. It wasn't enjoyable. I just wasn't liking it. I honestly wasn't. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna continue this. And he wrote Incidents Around the House, which I've heard is really good and really creepy. And I'll read that one, but this one I was like, And I know this is like an older book. I think it came, well, not older, but I think it came out like 3-4 years ago. So it's like one of his older ones, but I DNF'd it. Couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. Didn't care about the characters, didn't care about the plot. I had to let it go. I also started and DNF'd Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. There was nothing wrong with that book. I just think that one is, I think it's fantasy, and I told myself that I would only go into fantasy if I read the synopsis, and I didn't, because I didn't know it was a fantasy. I just be doing things, okay? I saw it at my library, I got it, and so I started reading it. I think I saw one person talk about it, but not really what it was about, just like, oh, I recommend this book. So I was like, oh, well, let me try it. I just wasn't in the mood at the time, and it's pretty big, hefty book. And so I was like, nothing wrong with it. I think that one's a soft DNF. I think I'll pick it up again at a later date when I'm in a better mood. Like when I'm in a mood where I'm enjoying books, I think that I might give that a better shot. But as for right now, I'm like, I'm not enjoying it. One of the characters is a vampire. One of them is a ghost. I forgot what else. But the vampire meets up with other like entities or creatures or whatever, if you will. And so I don't know. It just was like, and I feel like if you've watched my videos, you know I said that I don't really care for vampires. Like it's just not really my thing. And so the book has to be really interesting for me to like be sucked in. And at the time, I just was not getting into it. I was going through the motions of reading it, and then I was like, what did I read? What just happened? And I hate that. And so I was like, oh, putting it down. But again, that one's like a soft DNF, so I think I'll pick it up at a later date. But starting from the beginning, reading the synopsis first so I can really get into it. I believe that is all that I DNF'd so far. I'm reading a lot of books. I think I've read like 20 books so far. But I am just like, yeah, that's what it is. But anyway, that is all. I just wanted to make a quick video. If you just started following me, thank you so much. I appreciate and love you guys, really. I know I'm a little bit chaotic and I'm a little bit of a yapper, so thank you for being here, taking your time out of your day to look at me. That's amazing. I love that. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, happy reading.